Welcome back to My Hero Academia Week. Today, we're taking a look at the game's Story Mode and Hero's Diary, two game modes that definitely surprised me when I got to play the full game at a preview event last week. We'll start with Story Mode and then jump over to Hero's Diary, since that mode will actually be locked when you first get the game. Now, Story Mode positively blew my mind as soon as this cutscene started. And I know, the cutscene itself isn't as impressive as many anime game cutscenes that you've probably seen before. Heck, it's not even as impressive as some full CG cutscenes present in this same game. But when I saw this type of animation, I had almost like an epiphany due to how smart this is, because what I think this is replacing is the typical anime game slideshow. How many anime games do you know that have done story modes and instead of animating anything, they just don't have the budget or the time to do it and give you image stills with voice acting? Jujutsu Kaisen Curse Clash, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, the previous game My Hero 1 Justice 2, even Naruto Storm 4. For as praised as that game is for its story mode, the first half of that story is nothing but slideshows. This is an incredible idea to replace those. It looks a lot better than your typical slideshow, and it's a type of animation that's probably affordable enough to be a viable alternative to it. We could be witnessing the first of many games to adopt this method. It's kind of a genius idea that could really spread to other games. Now, I had some restrictions on which missions I could play during this preview event. I had 3 hours in total, and only some of those hours were dedicated to story mode, and they were very specific about which mission we could actually play. So, I cannot guarantee that there won't be slideshows for the rest of the game. In fact, I think we just saw 2 image stills that are straight up screenshots from the anime. This is animated, but the Deku with his mom screenshot, that was definitely from the anime. I honestly don't count that as a slideshow because one image still in the middle of all this shouldn't really be called out like that. But I can't guarantee that there won't be any slideshows for the rest of the game. I'm hoping that this is what they used to replace it, but I can't tell you for sure that that's the case. It's only my impression upon seeing this. Now, for this battle, we're going to be using Bakugo, and we're fighting against All For One Rewind. He is in permanent rising state, but he doesn't have the rising effect that All For One Rewind usually has. So this character, once he activates Rising, that's when he becomes this super young form, and you actually just have to time waste his Rising. You just have to wait for the Rising to run out, because the character is pretty much just invulnerable. But that's only if you are fighting him in versus mode. What I like about story mode is also the fact that they break those rules for these versus battles just to tell the story better. I mean, Bakugo fought against this form of All For One. He didn't fight against the younger but not as young as this form, which is the character you pick in versus mode. So I like their manipulation, their changing of the rules just to have a more accurate story here. I also made a little bit of a mistake in my big overview video when I said that this character had super armor. That is actually not the case. They do rely a lot on super armor on the team up mission game mode, which I still don't like, but in story mode against this specific boss at the very least, he does not have any super armor. The armor you see here is actually a part of the character. And the ability is pretty simple. It's self-explanatory. As long as he's doing nothing, he's just moving or walking, he gains super armor for, I think, just 1 hit. It could be more hits also. Just the CPU decided to do something after I do 1 hit every time. If he's in the air, he's guaranteed to just get caught. But if he's on the ground, just walking around, he's going to have armor. Now, you can break that with an unblockable attack, obviously. Plus, Ultra moves would also break it. There are ways around it. It's basically the same as just someone sitting there and blocking. But instead of sitting there and blocking, they can actually move around a little bit. It's a unique ability that is not just present when this character is in Rising, so when he's this very young form. The base character also has it, which is very, very interesting for sure. Now, Bakugo himself, he has changed quite a bit from the previous game. A lot of his moves are still the same. Obviously, we have the Rising, which equips those missiles and changes all of his quirks. You'll see that as I catch him in a combo, do Quirk 1. Now Quirk 1 actually hits him from very far away because the missiles are going to chase him down. Quirk 3 is different. He now gets kind of a concentrated laser shot, and that can actually be charged. You can charge this input for it to be an even stronger attack. But the biggest change to Bakugo, I feel like it's his hair combo. Bakugo used to not have any jumping combos, it's just the one jumping attack. But now he has a full air combo, and I think that really has to do with the tag system, because very often you will tag in another character, and that character will be in the air. If Bakugo just had the one attack he had before, I think a lot of players would struggle to play him, just like they did in 1 Justice 2, to be honest. Now, Full Plus Ultra 2 All for One's Face did not deal too much damage. We are both out of escapes, the emergency exits, so the combo breaker mechanic in this game, which makes me a little bit cautious here. Good blocks there from All for One. He's going to try to counterattack. We're just easily going to dodge that and punish with our own target combo. That's the one story battle I did. There was actually another one, but it was basically the same battle. I decided to skip that because I thought my time would be better spent exploring the other game modes since it was basically the same battle. But at the end of that, we have this full CG cutscene. And I think in the trailers we have seen they're doing a bunch of them for story mode. So I think these will be at least semi-regular, semi-frequent. And since they seem to be focused on telling the story of the final season, we might honestly see a lot more of these. With that, we are going to move on to Hero's Diary. Now, to unlock this game mode, you need to beat Team Up Mission, which is that game mode with the open world and everything else. In this mode, we're just hanging out at the cafe as Deku, and we get to select any Class 1A member and just have a mini story with them. I was allowed to see 3 members in total, so we're going to see Mineta, Kirishima, as well as Mina. Each one of them has 3 different missions, and this is the type of game mode that I honestly usually really don't care about. It's these side stories that I don't think contribute that much to My Hero lore or the anime lore. It's not just specific to My Hero, it's pretty much every anime game. It's a game mode that usually has a very filler feeling to it, and the gameplay is usually just 2 characters talking, sort of a visual novel style, so it really is not my thing. But I wasn't expecting this one to actually have some gameplay elements that left me curious to see the rest of the characters. So even though I don't think this game mode is incredible, it did enough to at least leave me curious about what they're doing with the rest of the cast. Now, the story with Mineta here is very simple. Mineta and Tokoyami happen to be going to the same place, which was this cat. Tokoyami likes the cat's energy or whatever and wants to take a picture of it. Mineta wants to discover more about the cat because everyone likes cats and Mineta wants to be popular. And that's it. This first cutscene is the entire mission. After that, we move on to the second. For the second Mineta mission, we run into Tsuyu, and Tsuyu doesn't really get what's going on with Mineta, even though he tries to explain the whole cat thing, but she gets the core of the issue, which is Mineta wants to be popular. And if he wants to be popular, Tsuyu actually has the perfect training regimen, which is to climb this building. And this is where we get the gameplay portion of Mineta's Hero's Diary story. We're gonna climb this building with a race, which is timed, misinput there, but it is pretty simple to just climb the building with Mineta. I did see Afro Senju's video on this, and dude had some tech, you know? He didn't read that you could climb the thing, and he struggled for a little while, but in doing so, he found some tech with Mineta, which is like you throw the ball into the wall, and then Mineta actually jumps on it and climbs faster. I wish this game mode would actually teach you that. That's actually advanced movement that you could be using in Team Up Mission. That sounds actually useful. Instead, it's a gameplay section where you just climb a building and finish the race with 30 seconds to spare. I was told this was going to be a platforming challenge, but honestly, I don't think this counts. So yeah, there was a gameplay element to the story. And that does conclude mission number 2, but it's a gameplay element that wasn't super interesting or challenging. That said, we are only getting started. Mission 3 is another simple cutscene where Mineta stands on top of the building. He looks at the view. It's a view that he can only see thanks to his quirk. He takes a deep breath and yells at the world. Because of that yell, though, Bakugo and Sero show up because they thought it was some crazy person yelling, and Mineta realizes he's not the only one that could climb the building. That's the story. Yeah, to me, that really doesn't add much to My Hero Academia lore. It's not even particularly entertaining, but let's jump into Kirishima. Hopefully, things are a little bit different here. Kirishima's start is pretty straightforward. He's got his rival, Tetsu. They haven't fought since the sports festival. They want to spar together. So we actually start with a 1v1 fight. And this was one of my first times playing Kirishima in this new version of the game, so I appreciate it. I really like this character, even though I'm getting splat by Tetsu already. We're gonna activate our armor by doing Quirk Skill 1. That's still the same. He does have a few differences. I did not expect that to break my armor. I think that's Tetsu's counterattack. It caught my dodge. So if you hit my armor with a counterattack, it actually will delete my armor. Tetsu here is fully armored, which is a gimmick that this game relies a lot on the other single-player mode, Team-Up Mission. Story mode, I'm not sure, but in Team-Up Mission for sure. It does make sense here because it's Tetsu. Unfortunately, I don't think they did super armor for Tetsu because it's this character. As you're going to see later in this video, by mission 3 of Kirishima, you're going to see more super armor, where in a place that doesn't really make sense. That combo almost got us the victory, so instead we're just going to slap him across the head to finish the fight. It was a good sparring session. Kirishima, obviously the victor, but then Kendo, who was acting as a referee, she remembers that they have an assignment to do together with some Class 1A members, and she's looking for Todoroki. Mission 1 complete. Let's find Todoroki in Mission 2. Kirishima finds Todoroki. He says, yeah, Class 1B members haven't been here yet. Should we wait around? Well, yeah, let's wait around, but let's practice so it's not wasted time. Todoroki's like, I haven't eaten yet. I need to have lunch. But they're standing in front of the All Might statue. So they talk a little bit about what it means to be the #1 hero and how close to it is Endeavor and will he ever get there. Kirishima becomes moved by Todoroki's determination despite his family troubles, invites him out for lunch to eat some soba, and that is the mission. For Mission 3, we completely abandoned the Class 1B homework project. That doesn't matter anymore. It's just Kirishima. Kirishima kind of down in the dumps because he gets worried about a lot of small stuff. And he just had a look at Todoroki, who has a very traumatic past and yet can still have a positive outlook on life. Luckily, Amajiki and Fat Gum are both there to console him and let him know, you haven't lost a fight in your head yet. You're still in the middle of the fight. Let's win this. By the way, since we're here, do you want to just spar? I'm not kidding. This fight happens with that exact narrative point. It's just, oh yeah, well, we're here, so we might as well. So yeah, we fight these two heroes. I do like that these game modes, Team Up Mission especially, sometimes makes you fight against multiple heroes at the same time, and they have a full moveset. I am getting jumped by both Fat Gum and Amajiki right now. Straight up. Now, luckily, Tamaki does not have the super armor. He has this new ability that actually poisons you, but I'm gonna activate Unbreakable here. Yes, sir, the Rising from Kirishima is unbreakable. It does give you super armor on all of your attacks, the gimmick that I hate to see in the game's Team Up Mission mode. Kirishima gets it on his Rising. He has an extra effect, which is if he has Ultimate Rising, which is the one you activate if you are the last remaining character, he cannot get killed. He goes down to 1 HP, but cannot get killed unless you throw a Plus Ultra. The game needs to come out for us to really test if that's the case, but that's what the description says, and that sounds really, really powerful. Now we do a Plus Ultra 1 to remove Fat Gum's armor, because Fat Gum is fully armored, and because we just did that Plus Ultra 1, his armor's still recovering. We're gonna finish this with a quick Quirk 1. And that's Kirishima. He still has the poison effect from Amajiki. But two unique combat scenarios, a little bit of narrative that I honestly didn't think was very good, but that opens the door a little bit for me. They might be doing some interesting stuff with other characters. Now I'm getting curious. Let's jump into Mina and see what's up with her story. Mina is asking Koda and Mineta for help finding some cats, otherwise she's gonna be stuck as Mr. Aizawa's helper. I don't know why. I don't know who wrote this. So we need to find the cats, and that's the first mission. We walk around this training ground. They called it a training ground. It seems like a children's park, but it is still the virtual world from Team Up Mission, so I guess everything is a training ground. But we need to find the cats, and they're not even particularly well hidden. There's also icons on the map. You can see exactly where they are. Who thought thought this mission was fun, bro. But that's mission 1. On mission 2, we see Koda sitting around with all the cats. Obviously, he can talk to animals, so all the animals like him. And that's a Nomu. He's trying out his power to see if it works on Nomu the same way it works on cats. It doesn't. So we have a combat encounter against Nomu. We're gonna start as Mina, doing our target combo here, going into counter, going into quirk 2, and tag in Mineta for a hype combo. Unfortunately, 3 buttons of the target combo, so just 3 attacks with square, will actually do a hard knockdown with Mineta. I completely forgot about that. So you got to do 1-2, go into something else like quirk skill. I was trying different routes here. 1-2 into counterattack does not work. Nomu is swinging. We're just going to hit him with a bunch of balls, stun him, and go for the unblockable. And we unblockable right into some exploding barrels. Destructible objects are still very much present, both in team up mission and this mode as well. Now, I'm thinking here, wow, that Mina cooldown sure is long. I would love to switch characters and do, I don't know, some more hype combos with Mina. But no, I think we're stuck with Mineta because this Nomu is about to go down. We're going to hit him with a quirk skill 4, that is the counter attack. And then to finish things off, I guess we just do 1 attack into plus ultra, and that's going to wrap things up. Mina's cooldown is still very, very far away, but this is a funny victory screen because look at the background behind Mineta. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Random object flying around. Mission clear! Let's go into mission number 3. And here they just sit about the cafe and Mina thanks both of them for the help with the cat. Aizo praised their work. He hasn't done that in a while, so she's very thankful. Mineta says it was actually fun, but Mina's not buying it. She's like, you were looking for a different type of kitten, weren't you? I think they're talking about pussy. And that's the story! Look, man, I don't know who wrote these. I don't think they're very interesting. But I also get the restrictions of writing new stories while having to constantly check with a license holder if it's okay. You have to tell stuff that is super harmless and generic, otherwise it might not get approved and then it delays games. But the gameplay side of things, there could be something there. There could be some fun challenges with other characters, and who knows, maybe one of these stories is actually worth playing through. I couldn't believe that 2 of the characters they gave us to play were actually stories about cats. I don't know if that's representative of the whole game mode or not, but I went into it dismissing this game mode completely, and now, thanks to the gameplay portions, okay, there might be something here. There might be some characters that are actually cool. And regarding story mode, I'm very much excited. That's the #1 single-player game mode that I'm excited to try out and play through. I left this preview event with a very good first impression of that story mode for sure. But that's going to do it for today. Tomorrow, we're going to be back with some more versus battles, and we're going to take a look at some broken characters, including Armored All Might, Lady Nagant, and what's probably the first character I'm going to try to main, Mr. Edgeshot. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that video, or you can watch it right now if you hit that join button and become a YouTube member. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!